Welcome back to Cloudbase Scents, a fresher take on fragrances. I'm your host, Joey. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch another one of my fragrance reviews. I greatly appreciate having you here, and thank you so much for the support, those of you who have liked and subscribed. Please consider joining me on my fragrance journey. We're gonna have a lot more material coming up this summer, so stay tuned for that. But let's get into why we came here. This is by the House of Lanvin, which is a fragrance house from Paris that was founded in 1889, and they were sold to L'Oreal in 1996. This is one of the first aquatics ever created. In fact, this fragrance helped kick off the whole aquatic phase in the 90s. So this is a very OG fragrance, and it's amazing. This is actually the Pour Femme version of this, not the Pour Homme version, but I wear this all the time, and the name of this is called Oxygene. So Oxygene Pour Femme is one of my favorite aquatics of all time. This stands out from all of my other aquatics, and you have to know this right off the bat. As a reviewer, I have a ton of aquatics and I love wearing them, so I'm going to speak very favorably about a lot of aquatics coming up in the future, so just be prepared for that. But let's talk about why this is unique. Okay, so let's start off with the notes first, so I can describe to you a little bit about the direction that this goes in. So on the top of this fragrance, we have Indian white pepper and bergamot. And bergamot in this is what you're going to pick up when you first spray it. It does have that bit of zestiness to it that you get from most bergamot fragrances, because it is a very common note that's used in the opening. The Indian white pepper, you can sort of pick that up, but these notes fade very fast into the mid, and the mid and the base is what this fragrance is all about, in my opinion, so let's jump straight into that. So in the mid, you have rose, milk, and gardenia, and I know you might be thinking to yourself, how do you have milk in an aquatic fragrance? How does that smell good? You don't actually get the smell of milk, it's just the type of texture, the kind of atmosphere you get from this. This is a very milky type of fragrance, and there's really no other way to describe it, so you're just gonna have to try it out for yourself, but I promise you it's not pungent, it doesn't stink. It actually is a very calming, peaceful type of fragrance, and it puts everybody in a good mood around you, puts you in a good mood if you're into this type of a thing. So the rose and the gardenia in this stand out to me the most. You do get a rose with this, and it's not the whole oud satin mood type of rose. This is not a jammy or a candy type of rose. This is a very soft kind of rose, and it works with the gardenia to help support it. The gardenia does stand out in this, but it's not very overly feminine. So if you might be thinking this is a Pour Femme fragrance with gardenia in it, I'm gonna smell like a bunch of flowers, I promise you that's not the direction that it goes in. And I also want to take a second, because I feel like this needs to be said. When a company markets something to male or female, it says Pour Femme or Pour Homme, don't be fooled by that, because oftentimes anybody can pull off fragrances. It just depends on your type of personality, how you wear things, how you project yourself and things like that. You can pull off any type of fragrance. It really doesn't matter what gender you are, how you identify yourself. Just don't pay attention to the marketing labels that companies put on these fragrances, because it doesn't always represent if you can wear it or not. So in the base of this fragrance, we have sandalwood, iris, and musk. And so the iris in this fragrance is not like Dior Homme Parfum or Valentino Warmo Intense. It's not like that at all. This is not a makeup bag lipstick type of iris. This is a very soft, very well done, subdued type of iris that doesn't climb out of this fragrance and offend everyone around you. It does actually add to the longevity and sillage in this fragrance, which we'll talk about in just a second, but the sandalwood kind of adds this little kind of aldehydic creaminess to the fragrance. So while you do get that gardenia in the mid and it smells very floral, it balances itself out in this very calming, very soft, almost laundry fresh type of atmosphere. And the musk you obviously pick up. This is a very musky fragrance when it dries down. So lastly, let's talk about the sillage, projection, and performance of this fragrance, because I know that's important to some of you guys, like it's important to me. So when you think about aquatics, some of them last a long time, some of them don't last very long at all. This one for me is very, very good on the performance side of things. For the first 2 hours, this climbs all the way out to arm's length. In fact, a little bit further than that. People in the room with me, especially if I'm in a smaller room, can say they smell this all the time. I work in a nightclub environment, as some of you know, and I actually have worn this to the club several times and had a lot of people compliment me. So the sillage on this is actually above average for the first 2 hours, and I usually take it with me to the club and just reapply it. So this is not something you have to be afraid of reapplying, because it's only 25 bucks, and you can buy this from Fragrance X, perfume.com, Fragrance Net, all those usual outlets. You can get this anywhere, including Amazon and Walmart.com. So it's not like some of the other stuff I review that's kind of hard to find, niche and designer. You can find this pretty much everywhere, and it's really cheap. So if you're like me, when you get down to here, you're gonna buy another bottle. I know I'm gonna keep buying this until they discontinue it, but since they haven't discontinued it since the 90s, I'm sure it's gonna be around for a really long time, and I'm very happy about that. So that's my review today of Oxygene by Lanvin, and I think that this is, as far as like out of 10, I would probably give this an 8. I mean, this just really resonates well with me, and I think you're going to be happy with it too if you like aquatics. Let me know what you think if you own this fragrance, or if you buy it and you try it out. Leave a comment down below and tell me how it worked out for you, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm your host Joey, and I'll see you right here on the next review on Cloudbase Scents.